One.
Good afternoon. I'm Vice Mayor Shanika Smith, the Chair of the Boards and Commissions Committee, and I would like to welcome you all to our October 11th remote meeting. All council committee members and staff are participating virtually. To help our audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud. We are streaming live on the Virtual Engagement Hub, which is accessible through the Virtual Engagement Hub link on the front page of the city website. We also have the option for the public to listen live by phone. For those with us today, welcome. For today's meeting, we have the option for people to call in and comment live during the meeting. To call in and comment live, use the same number, 855-925-2801, meeting code 9478. Your phone will be placed on mute, and you will hear the meeting live. At this point, speakers will push *3 to enter the speaker queue. I'll now go through and introduce all our committee members and staff who are participating virtually. We also have some candidates who you'll get introduced to later. They are vying for the ABC board chair seat. I'll go through for introduction. Just say a quick hello. Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley.
Hello.
Councilwoman Kim Roney.
Good afternoon.
Interim Assistant City Manager Ben Woody.
Good afternoon.
Deputy City Clerk Sarah Gross.
Hello.
Assistant Clerk Jerry Goldberg.
Hello.
All right. We'll move to the agenda. First on the agenda, we have the approval of the September 13th meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes and a second?
So moved. Second.
All right. I'll do a roll call vote for approval. Councilwoman Mosley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
And myself, aye. The approval of September 13 minutes is approved. We'll move to the second part of our agenda, which is public comment. Do we have anybody in the speaker queue to make comments?
No, there's no callers in the queue.
All right. We'll move into the next item on our agenda. We have two candidates vying for the ABC board chair, Robin Cape and Max Hayner. We're going to do a quick interview process. We sent some written interview questions in advance, which they submitted responses to earlier last week, I believe. Committee, did you have a chance to review those responses from our candidates? Okay, we'll go individually and ask questions, additional questions. And we'll start with Robin Cape. We're going to give 10 minutes for each candidate. And the time starts now. Robin, welcome.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So I'm going to just go over the questions that was submitted, but you can start with just some background about yourself and what qualifies you for board chair.
Well, I have lived in the city of Asheville since 1988. I was a small businesswoman. I've always been a small businesswoman, other than time I spent working with nonprofits in the community. I served on the Asheville City Council from 2005 to 2009. And after that time, I was asked by the ABC board to consider joining their board. So I originally came on the board in around 2010. And I served 6 years, 2 terms for 6 years, and then rolled off, as is the due. I was off for several years and then was asked to return when our board chair at the time, Louis Isaac, passed away. We had a fairly new board at that point, and we had a dearth of institutional knowledge, and there were so many issues that have been facing the ABC board that they asked if I would consider returning. They put the request before City Council, and they approved me coming back. So I am in a second round of this, and as such, I have a really deep and wide and broad, because of the time spent on this board, understanding of how it evolves, what the changes are happening there, what we can do, and how we can be successful in serving the community.
Okay, what potential opportunities or challenges do you see over the next 5 years for the ABC board?
are always the challenge is always the push for privatization, which in my mind comes mostly from a lack of understanding at the public at large and the community about how ABC is their business. We often think that the government can't run business. Well, this ABC board can prove to you very well that we can run business very well, be very efficient, be highly effective, and in this case, be highly profitable. The beautiful thing, the history, as you dive into the whole prohibition and ABC control systems across the country, it's a fascinating story about how people individual states after prohibition started addressing what do we want to see happen here. And there's been a lot of models tried. And at this point, almost 100 years in, we have time to see how those models have played out. The state of North Carolina has one of the most restrictive control systems. And as such, we also have a lot less problems with alcohol on the street than a lot of places do. For example, if we have people underage come in and rob our store, it's not just a loss of profits. It's a very core loss of our very mandate and our reason for being. Private industries don't carry that same sense of responsibility for the mandate of control. I found the control system to be just a remarkable system for taking a product that has challenges, and we've all looked at the challenges that tobacco has faced, opioids have faced, these things that have impacts, and when they're in hands of a private, profit-driven modality, they have a tendency to get a little sticky, and then they have to come back afterwards and pay for it. We find that the control system allows us to be responsible all along, and then the profits go to serve the community and the state. So the privatization, always. Just the ins and outs of running a business. As we, Asheville's ABC store, our 10 locations last year did $50 million. Well, that's a lot of in and out business in a store. And some of our heaviest stores, like Tunnel Road, for example, have an impact on the community because of backup of traffic. I mean, it seems like, but, a regular business model might say, but if we go further to Fairview and grab that location we have out there, we're just going to dilute our customer base. But remember, profit alone is not our only driver. Serving the community in a safe way, that comes into the conversation. That starts shaping how we make those decisions. And then, as we all know, President Biden this week made a huge announcement with marijuana, and we can see that it's going to change. Those of us who've been in North Carolina and watched how we kind of hang back and wait for things to happen, well, things are happening. Marijuana is coming forward. Are we positioned to handle it? And, as someone who, honestly, I got into the ABC system a long time ago because this question, how does this work? Would this be a safe vehicle, a healthy vehicle for marijuana to come into the state? And I've just more and more become convinced and try to advocate for the fact that it would be the North Carolina control system at that point could be really the healthiest way for us to move forward with legalizing marijuana in this state. So those are three big opportunities.
Thank you for that. I have one more question before I open it up to the committee. The alcohol beverage control system will be soon hiring a new executive director. What experience do you have hiring personnel?
Well, I have been the board chair of the Greenbelt Alliance for the last couple of years. And in that, I've been directly responsible to the executive, not responsible to, but responsible for the executive director. I ran my own businesses many times. I have not necessarily had an executive suite kind of company where I, hired executive suite employees. What I will say about the organization of which I've been a part for almost, 10 years at the ABC is that the current board chair has done an excellent job of helping outline the roles and goals and responsibilities and mentoring from within. I know all of us want to see that we grow the capacity within our community. Of course, we will reach outward, but we grow the capacity within from people. And so, while I haven't had a direct hand in hiring a new executive director, I've had experience in working with them and what they do. I did work with the Woodfin Water Board, and we did, as a matter of fact, boy, all of a sudden that feels like ancient history. We did hire a new executive director who was very successful there for almost, going on almost 20 years. And we hired him to be the water board director after a stint as a city manager up in Ohio. So that was a really successful hire.
Any other questions from the committee? We're at 3 minutes.
I'll continue on along the lines of hiring an executive director, Robin. What do you think is the best approach to find and to hire an executive director?
Well, I think really understanding the job in its full depth, like what is their specific job? We have a very diverse staff in terms of the roles they play. And Mark has been, a yeoman at making sure that that position has created a staff of capable people around us. I think understanding fully what the role is, and I would hope that we would continue looking for a business forward and management mindset that knows about not just top down managing, because too often we see somebody come in with an executive position and then a year later they're gone. And in the meantime, they decimated the culture that they came into. So it's really important to me that the culture is fully understood and identified, that we talk to the people and have them give us a full assessment of what the strengths and the weaknesses have been of the current, and where so that they can help from a day-to-day view, tell us what they see. And then we put all that together. Of course, we're going to go wide with a search. And as we know often, that a lot of people, we tried to do that hiring our CFO. That kind of came up empty-handed. And we were so fortunate that we have a culture over there of bringing people up from the inside, keeping them fully versed in what this job is and testing them and their abilities and letting them see full hand if they want to move forward with this. But I think really from the board and from the staff, we can gather a really comprehensive picture of what the role is.
We're at 1 minute. Is there anything else you would like to say in closing?
Well, I think one of the really exciting things to me about taking this position is I do sit on this state board of NBC North Carolina control boards, and that board is really looking at how we can improve the success of all of the boards across the state. That is another 3-year term, and I'm just really looking forward to the work that we're going to do. I think that go ahead, Kim.
Well, I know we're getting close on time, and I already presented the 2 questions that were submitted for in writing answers, so thank you for those. But I'm wondering, there's one thing left that's missing. I think you noted a letter to Justice Earls about equity, and the new potential influx of sales tax revenue will be significant when we decriminalize marijuana. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you see where that multi-million-dollar influx in revenue could address disparities in North Carolina or our community specifically?
Are you speaking of the profits that are going to come through the marijuana sales through an ABC?
If it goes through the ABC board, yes.
Yeah, I think
it could be hundreds of millions.
Yeah, I think so. You have to, the way we do it right now with education, it would have to be mandated at the state level. Keep in mind that what we do locally, our hands are tied a whole lot. All we can do is advocate for what we think are going to be the best routes forward, what we see based in our community the value would be. But it's going to be a statewide conversation that then we implement on a local level. I think just like we implement rehab and education through the alcohol funds, I think there will be a revenue possibility. I think it would be an admirable one because this is part of the conversation about the harms that have been caused. And that those can then be, it will have to be sparsed, we have to parse it out with our representatives at the legislature and everywhere. But yeah, I think it's a really good use of those funds personally.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you, committee. Next, we have Max Hayner. Max, could you just say a quick hello to everyone and give the audience watching an idea about you as an individual or your background and why you are in a position to take the seat as board chair.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to be able to speak to those questions and concerns. My name is Max Hayner. I am a resident of Buncombe County since 1968. Moved into Asheville in 1982 and have worked on a number of ad hoc boards and also appointed boards by the city and through my community. I have a graduate degree in chemistry, quite frankly, from Western Carolina, and I worked and retired from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, administering the state's water quality, water pollution control regulations. I am very interested in serving as a chair of the ABC board. I feel like I am qualified to do that. I've, like I say, worked on a number of boards and commissions that I have been in a leadership role, and I really believe that I can do the job that's necessary. I understand the responsibilities. I understand that the chair is the face of the board. I understand that he or she is also a team leader, and the objective is to bring those issues before the board in a way that the decisions can be made that are the best for the community, the best for our board. And Robin, I think, is exactly right. It's not all about profitability. It's about serving the community. And we do that, and I understand how it can be done. I've been on the board for 4 years now, and I have sat at the chair's right hand, not from a decision-making standpoint that's beyond any of the other board members, but from the standpoint of learning. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Committee, you have questions?
I'll ask the same question that I asked to Robin. We're looking at if there's a federal action or a state action, hundreds of millions of dollars of new sales tax revenue when the sale of cannabis becomes legal in North Carolina because of the disproportionate impact of the criminalization of marijuana in our state. How do you see that influx of hundreds of millions of dollars of new revenue could address equity in North Carolina and our community?
Well, I think each county, each community that has voted in sale of spirits in this state, and I think we have, if I remember correctly, we have over 170 throughout the state. Some are in poor regions, or I should rephrase that, those that do not have the resources that other counties have because of size and because of opportunity. As far as our county is concerned, we are mandated to contribute or to give to our city and Buncombe County 75% and 25% respectively of our profits. And I can only imagine that will go a long way to making some of the issues that come before city council, that come before the county commission, that makes their job a little bit easier in distributing some funds to make things better. Obviously, we're all interested in growth. Excuse me. We all should be interested in growth. And we have the demand from our tourist industry and from the people visiting this area, not just Asheville. We have the demand that they will have on our resources, our infrastructure, and the money that will and profits that will go towards the city and the county can do nothing except improve that, as well as the other counties. We're the 8th largest county that does, our 8th largest system that does the administration of the spirits laws. And we have the capability of dealing with substance abuse and substance sales. And we have a law enforcement system, and I think we can do that very nicely. And we have the ability to manage this in a way that is nothing more than a profitable, positive influx of resources to our community.
Thank you.
So I am going to continue along the lines of the executive director. So, and it's a two-parter. What are you currently doing to evaluate the performance of the executive director? And secondly, do you believe the evaluation should be performed only by the board chair, or should the evaluation be performed by the board as a whole?
The second question first. The board chair is a manager. It's a team leader. It relies on getting the best out of each and every member of the board. And there's no question that it should be anything short of that. That has to be a decision that the board reaches through discussion and through recognizing the attributes and the values that the general manager has. There's the value. As far as what are we doing, we're continually reviewing the performance of our general manager and the staff. We do that formally once a year, where we determined the value from the standpoint of salaries and that type of question. But we recognize that our general manager is golden to our commission. We cannot, and honestly, improve on that. I have asked Mark to prepare the discussion for us as to what is important that he sees, what his strengths, what his weaknesses are, and what would he believe best serves to continue when he decides to retire. And hopefully that's not for a while. But it's something that is continually on our mind. Things happen beyond our control. We could end up needing to find a person to sit in that seat more quickly than we would like. And preparing for that is, I think, what every one of our board members has on their mind.
Okay, thank you.
We have 2 minutes left. Is there another question from the committee? Is there anything else you would like to share before we close out this section of our agenda?
Well, I appreciated the questions that came and gives us an opportunity to think deeply as to about what our board does and what we will be facing, what we're facing today, and those issues. And one of the questions, part of the first question was really interesting as to what is our role. What do we feel is the chair's role and the board's role in dealing with some of the other boards that are set up that are not as profitable, that do not function as well. And we are a resource. Robin is a resource on the board of the ABC organization. And I guess you meet in Raleigh, Robin. I'm not sure of that. I haven't been to the meetings other than the conferences. But the value that we bring based on our experience, based on our success, and based on our interaction with the new chairman of the commission, who is a business person, and understands there is a balance between not only the work that we do, but how we serve the community. And we're there, and it's our responsibility to be as effective in our management and effective in our communication as we can possibly be. And I do appreciate that opportunity.
Thank you for your responses. on today. Robin, you have your hand raised. Is there anything
Yeah,
else?
it's such an interesting system, and I think that one of the real things that I want to be a part of, if given the opportunity to serve as the chair, is it's really helping all of us, our council members, our community, understand how the system works. Kim, just as an aside, when you said all the sales tax profits coming in, the sales tax are going to go to the state and to you all, and you make all the decisions you want to all those. We have a mandate of an additional pot of money that they'll give us parameters, and that's what I meant at the state level. The state will give us a parameter, like these are the things you can fund, and that decision will come down, and then we'll have an extra percent. Right now with alcohol, it's a 7% profit of our profit that we can use. So yes, there are other places. And, basically when a business works for the community, instead of the profits, we serve our community by the way we pay our employees, the way we manage our system, the way we serve through stores, making our stores places people are not afraid to come shop in. And then the money we give back to the community. So it's a multitude, but I would really look forward to having that conversation over and over again and explaining just how the system really works and getting rid of the idea that privatization is some kind of better benefit. In America right now, privatization 80% of the time is talking about Walmart or Costco. And those aren't, those private monsters aren't the wonderful little family alcohol business. There's a lot of boogeybears about a system like ours. And that's one of the most exciting things to me also to be a part of. So thank you for this today. It's nice to see everybody. I love to see how you're managing your meetings, and we are trying to do the best we can to add some more money to your coffers. And thanks for taking your time.
Thank you, Max, and thank you, Robin. Just for our audience listening, to let you all know about what this process is going to look like and how we're going to determine the new board chair for the ABC board. This committee will make a recommendation shortly, and that recommendation will move forward to full council for their consideration on this evening. And I trust that the other council members will tune in to this playback in between now and tonight's meeting to review the questions and your answers. They also have received your written responses from earlier last week. So all that information together will land us on the approval of the new ABC board chair this evening at our 5 o'clock meeting. So with that being said, I'll open this up to our committee members for deliberation or recommendation.
So we need to be out of here, right?
Well, you can stay a little while, but after our recommendation goes through, it'll be nice if you would enjoy the rest of your evening until tonight.
No, I understand. I'll mute myself. And
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and admit that I won't be of much help because I am equally torn. I believe they're both great candidates. So I'm welcoming your comments to nudge me in one way or the other. I'm impressed with both of them. I think either would be great.
I agree. And I think we're really blessed in our community to have leaders like these step forward into roles that are so important and obviously don't get as much attention as they should. With that said, I feel really strongly that we're not yet ready for the big changes that are about to happen at the federal and state level. And the existing communication between Buncombe County and the state is really important to me, which is why I'm ready to make a motion to recommend Robin Cape for chair.
Okay, is there a second?
Do you have any discussion from your end?
Well, I'll add my, before I move forward with a possible second. I really enjoyed both of the candidates and given information, not only about their interest in the chair position, but their involvement, their deep involvement in this community before their service to the ABC board. I think it's very important to look into the future and what the system can look like around education and putting further controls in place in case there is a legalization of marijuana. I was very impressed by Robin Cape's proactive measures and reaching out to leaders on a state level ahead of legalization. And I'm very impressed by also her knowledge of the system, her response when it came to how to facilitate communication between the local ABC board. But Max as well, Max Hayner is a staple in this community with deep involvement with the city, and he understands city process. He also has strong communication and has deep connection with board members. And Ms. Roney's motion to recommend that this committee appoint Robin Cape as the next ABC board chair. That is a second. I'll do a roll call vote for approval. Councilwoman Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney,
Aye.
and myself, aye. The motion carries. The recommendation from boards and commissions to move forward to tonight's meeting, full council meeting for full council consideration would be to appoint Robin Cape as the new ABC board chair. Thank you all again for joining us, Robin Cape and Max Hayner. Tune in tonight in person or wait for a call from our city clerk's office as to the final decision. We'll now move forward to the rest of our agenda. Next on our agenda, we have October appointments. We have the appointment of one member, one vacancy in the African American Heritage Commission. I move to recommend Cherie Lucas.
I'll second.
All right, I'll do a roll call vote for approval. Councilwoman Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney,
Should we wait to see what Jerry is raising her hand? Is there an issue of the process at hand?
No issue with the process. I just missed the second. Who seconded?
I did.
Thank
I
you.
made the motion.
Yeah, I've got that. I missed the second. Thank you. I got it now.
And I will vote aye.
Okay, and I'll vote aye. The motion carries for the recommendation to appoint Cherie Lucas to the African American Heritage Commission. For the Audit Committee, we have two vacancies, but we're going to have to re-advertise for that because we didn't get any applications for those two seats. For the Homeless Initiative Advisory Committee, we have one recommendation, but we didn't receive, well, we have one vacancy, but we didn't get a recommendation from the nominating committee. Kim, do you have any insight there?
Yeah, I know that we are looking at the list of seats that are required by HUD to fill those requirements. Though it says no recommendation received, there are two names on our list as well. We could wait until the next board and commission meeting. I'm also prepared to support a recommendation for Elena Mansauer
Okay, I wanted
because of
to
her experience in
consider-
health.
I wanted to consider their process in making a recommendation, and being that they're a newly formed nominating committee. In our last meeting, I believe we were ready to move forward with a recommendation, but just out of respect for their new formation, I wanted to give them an opportunity to weigh in.
So let's wait for the nominating committee to have
Okay,
a
thank you.
formal recommendation.
All right, we'll move to Human Relations Commission. We have 4 vacancies, 2 recommendations from the staff liaison. I'll make a motion to appoint Eileen, Catherine, and Donald Post.
I'll second.
All right, I'll do a roll call vote for approval. Councilwoman Mosley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Roney.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion carries. For the Noise Advisory Board, we did get applications, but the applications received were not, they don't qualify for the industrial and construction representative seat. So we'll just re-advertise there. And we'll move on to the Public Art and Cultural Commission. I believe that the board chair would like us to re-advertise. Even though we did receive an application, I got an email for re-advertisement. That ends our October appointments. We'll move to the next part of our agenda. Sarah, you're going to go over the committee work plan and future agenda topics.
Yeah, so linked in your agenda and then the folder, materials folder, you should see the committee work plan, which we're doing for all city council committees. And so just tentative future agenda items for planning purposes. I just want to highlight a couple things that we have upcoming. At our next meeting, Dawa Hitch, who's the Communication and Engagement, Public Engagement Director, will be here to give an update on that inclusive and accessible government project, which will in the future include some hybrid options. So I know that's highly anticipated. Looking at the end of our year, just our standard updates, which will include the demographics, our annual reports, and the update on our outreach efforts that we're doing in the clerk's office. So those are just some things to highlight, but also for some upcoming policy initiatives. I'll talk a little bit about the realignment working group and the outgoing survey. We hope to have the results and any analysts also come to this committee. Hope to highlight any themes or recommendations that would come out of that. Also in the clerk's office, we are putting a lot of time and energy into looking at a new board management software. So this will likely be a budget request and hopefully, ideally in the future, make for better reporting that we can give to this committee and to the community. Other things that we're looking at in the clerk's office that hope to keep this committee updated with is looking at the appointment process as well as a training series for board commission members as well as staff and board chairs. That is definitely one of the things that we've heard when we talk about realignment of boards and commissions, that training is in much need. So we are going to be putting some time and energy at looking at a series for that in the future. So those are just some of the things I wanted to highlight. Any questions, concerns, or anything the committee would like to add?
There's a discussion about reducing the membership number for Human Relations Commission. Is that going to come to this board before it moves to full council?
Absolutely. That is for November, and I need to get more information about what that will look like. But of course, more information will be forthcoming. But that is on our next scheduled meeting for November.
This is Kim. I'll just add that I know that y'all do a lot of work onboarding folks through your process now. And I just wanted to say thank you for the steady hands.
All right. Anything else on the committee work plan? Okay. We'll move on to. No, I think that's it. You already spoke on the realignment update, upcoming meeting schedule.
Well, two things there with the informal discussion. I'll just give the formal update on the realignment committee. A smaller subcommittee of the realignment working group is finalizing that survey I've been mentioning. So the survey will go to current and past board members. We and outsourced community members have very impressively able to get 400 emails of board and commission members over the last 5 to 10 years. So very impressive. So we are very hopeful what will come back from that survey. And hopefully we can have some recommendations that come from that. So that's it for that update. And the last thing I wanted to touch on here is just our upcoming, our end of the year meeting schedule. Touch base to make sure that everyone here is okay with rescheduling our regular meeting schedule, which would normally be November 8th, very important election day, to rescheduling that to November 15th at this 1 o'clock time. Looks good. Perfect. And then typically we have in the past canceled that December meeting just to allow for more application time for applicants during the holidays. Any objections? Super. I will notice those today.
Okay. Do we have anybody to speaker queue?
We do not.
Okay. Any other comments from the committee or staff? All right. I'll see you all tonight.
Thanks, y'all.